Hey there, how's it going? In this video, we're going to be going over the Manipless Armos clip used in Fortress of Winds in the 80% speedrun of the Minish cap. So let's just jump straight into this. So, where would you want to use this in a run? Essentially, if you're if you're still doing the beginner speedrun, you don't want to be implementing this skip into the run yet. It's a really difficult trick that only benefits you in the beginner run as a time saver in this room by about 10 seconds. If you do it once here, you have to do it a second time later on in the dungeon. I should also preface this with that this is done right at the beginning of the dungeon. We head from the entrance of the dungeon up the right hand side, and this is just before we get the first small key. So typically what you would do in this room is that you would come here and you would kill this Armos, and you would create your clones here to go over to this next room over here. Now you may see a problem with my equips right now, is that I've got a green sword right now, which means that I can't create clones. If you're doing the more advanced route of the speedrun, you will know that we have to come here with the green sword, which means we can't create clones, and we have to instead get through this room without creating clones. If you're doing, basically, if you coming into this room with the red sword, you shouldn't go for this trick. You should just create your clones and go through it. It's just much safer, and this is a risky strat to save time. That is essentially what this strat is. It's so risky, in fact, that people opt to do a save and quit before this section. Like, as soon as they enter the dungeon, they will save and quit to start doing an RNG manipulation, because doing a save and quit resets the RNG to a predictable point, and then all of your movements from that point, if done correctly, will result in a replicatable outcome. So we do RNG manipulations to make the Armos move into the right position over in the bottom left corner of this room, so that we can clip through this block and avoid having to create our clones. So one of the bad things about doing the Armos clip with a manipulation is that any mistakes you make along the way will mean that the manipulation won't work in the end. You have to be perfect for several rooms at least. You can make small hiccups here and there, and if you have enough practice, you can know what the backup is or if it's going to affect it at all. But generally, you have to play perfect to be able to get this trick. And if you fail it, you have to reset and go all the way through again, which can lose 30 seconds to a minute, depending on which room you make a mistake. So it's really important to know backups in case the manipulation gets to this point. The Armos doesn't go into the position you want it to be. You need to have a backup here. You don't want to just reset and lose an entire minute. You want to take a couple of seconds of time loss and get the Armos into the position you want it to be, and then clip through. So I'm going to go through a little bit of prior information before we go into this trick to just so that you understand what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna lay out a bit of the geography of this room. So this vertical column of tiles here, we're gonna call this the deactivation zone for the Armos. These Armos in this room are fully active when you're standing basically anywhere in the room, and if the Armos is awake and you're standing nearly anywhere in this room, it's going to be moving around nearly randomly. It looks at RNG and sees how it decides to move, and a little bit on where your position is. It will try and come in generally in your direction, but that's not a guarantee. It will just move randomly, essentially. But if you stand in this column over on the left-hand side, the Armos would then finish whatever movement pattern it's doing right at that moment, and then sit down and stop moving. That's really, really important for this trick, because that lets us control the Armos. If it gets into a position we want it to be, we stand somewhere in this left-hand column, and then it will just turn off and then sit where it is. That is really important to know. So the next column along here, this I'm going to call the one-off column. This is a when we're actually doing the trick, it's a little bit of an awkward position for the Armos to be in, but it's going to be something that we'll be able to deal with. And then this vertical column here, we're going to call the 2 away. And this is a nice column for the Armos to decide to sit in. And then finally, this bottom row here, this is like the no-go zone. This is just the dead zone. We do not want the Armos to come down here. If he comes down here, we're screwed. It's going to really lose a lot of time. And then also just this general area over here, we just don't want the Armos to come over here in general. If it comes over here, we're kind of screwed, but we're going to take some time loss, but we'll try and get it back over to the areas we want it to be. Okay, so let's load up a save state where I haven't killed the Armos, and we'll manipulate it, or we'll get it moving into a different position. Okay, so typically when you enter this room, you want to walk up slightly and then do 3 rolls to the left. You've got a lot of room to do these 3 rolls before you fall down this gap here. And then when you get over to here, you do a roll up and then like a roll left. Now, to get this Armos to move quickly, we want to do 2 slashes to it. Now, things to note with these Armos is that it will die after exactly 4 hits. So if we go up to the Armos and only hit it once, like, well, okay, if we just wake up the Armos and let it move, you see it's moving around, but it's moving around slowly. We don't want it moving around slowly because it's going to take way too long to get into the position that we want over here. If we also hit it once, it's going to move slowly still. We want to hit it twice and then it'll start moving quickly. Where it's entered like its critical health state and it's starting to move around really quickly like this. So yeah, let's do this from like the beginning here. So we do 3 rolls over here, 1 roll up here, 2 sword slashes, and we come and stand over here, trying to bait the Armos over into this general position over here. Now I talked about those 3 vertical columns. The Armos is going to go and sit in one of these columns. The absolute best position it's going to be in is somewhere in this, in the deactivation zone, in this column here. If it's in this position, that's great. We'll deal with that in a second. I mean, other than the absolute worst position, which is somewhere down here, which absolutely sucks. Actually, let's start in the worst case scenario. It stops somewhere down here. It stops somewhere like that. The only thing we can do here is basically activate it, standing up here until it walks up a little bit, and then deactivate it again. So then it's somewhere in these columns. Now, this is the in the one-off column. This is a bit of an awkward position for it to be. We want it to move 1 tile to the left, and we can make Armos move 1 tile to the left by doing a sword slash from the opposite side. So if we want to make it move to the left, we would have to stand on the right-hand side and give it a tap like that. You notice a big issue with that is that we fall off immediately. So that's why being in that position is so awkward. We can't just do 1 slash to make it move over into the position we want it to be. Instead, we're going to do a slash in the opposite direction and make it move somewhere else. Hello? Why did you deactivate? Okay, so we come down here like that after it's activated. Okay, so it's stood in the middle column here, the 1 away column. So we're actually going to stand on the deactivation side. We're going to go up close to it to activate it, stand a little bit further away, and then do 1 slash to make it move over to the column over on the right-hand side here. Now, when the Armos is in this the 2 away column, that's a really good position. We can get it to move over into the far left column, almost guaranteed. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate it, and we're not going to stand right up against it as we activated it. We're going to tap a little bit to the side. So we activate it, stand a little bit to the side, and then it's going to wake up and push us over to the left-hand side. Now, we're going to take some damage if it stands in this position. So you do want to make sure that you're going to be good on health. And typically, because we're doing this as part of the advanced route, you're going to be doing P-Hack Clip, so you should have more health coming into Fortress than you would have if you were doing some of the other routes. And now, this is basically the perfect position we want it to be. Now we can activate it, stand down here, and do a roll to the left, and it will clip us through. If we don't get that clip first try, let me go and get it back into the position and show the backup. So come on over here. Yeah, this is basically random movement. We can't really guide when he's going to go. All we can do is choose when to deactivate him. So, yeah. Oh my god, I'm getting these all first try. So we do 2 slashes here, come and stand like over here. Come on, come over here. Okay, that's a bad position for him to be, but we're going to come and stand here. One tile away so that when it hits us, it knocks us into the activation zone and turns off. From here. It's really bad. Yeah, so there's another example that I should point out, is that you ideally want it to be somewhere in line with the you don't want it to be really high up in this room. When the Armos sits down, you ideally want it to be somewhere in these 3 rows here that are in line with the gap. If it's on this row here, that's also fine. You just have a little bit of RNG involved, whether or not it's going to run all the way down or if it's going to move to the side of it. But if it's all the way at the top here, it's very likely that it's going to move down a little bit and then move off to the side. So we're going to activate it, come all the way down here. Yeah, okay, luckily it went in the right direction. I don't know why I was doing sword slashes there. It was mispressing. Okay. So when it's on the left-hand side here and you do your strats to activate it, move down, then roll to the left as it's moving down. If you don't clip through the first try, it's going to come and sit in this corner here. So the backup for this is you stand above it, activate it, and then do 2 rolls down. That pretty much always gets you through first try if you give this enough practice. And yeah, we're through the Armos, and now we can shrink down and go and reactivate the other Armos in this room so that we can pull the lever. And another thing to note is that the Armos is still going to be here when we come and push the boulder out of the way, so we just want to make sure we do something like that, and then we can pull the lever and drop the key. Let me just go through this again one last time. So we come over here, we activate the Armos, 2 sword slashes, bring him over here somehow. We wait till it's in a it's somewhere in this like area down here. We move over into the activation zone to turn it off. We judge where it's landed and adopt the strategy that's going to get it over into the position that we want it to be. So we're going to stand like this. It's going to knock us over to the side. Then here we do our flip through and we're in. Now, if you do this Manipless without doing a save and quit, you'll be able to get a time from the entrance of Fortress up to the midst, like an absolute optimal gold split where it goes from the position you want it to be all straight away to do the clip instantly. You can get about a 215, like that's absolutely the upper limit of human ability, a 215 from entrance of Fortress of Winds to the mid split. If you're doing an RNG manipulation, you have to do a save and quit beforehand, which will cost like 10 to 12 seconds, but that gives you consistency. And then, of course, if you're going for the a manipulation, the Armos moves into a position that you weren't expecting as part of the manipulation. You still want to clip through, then adopt some of these strategies so that you can still clip through with the Armos in a bad position. And that's pretty much it. If you still need to get a kinstone because you didn't get all of the kinstones when you were in Castle Wilds, and you're doing the Armos clip as manipulation on purpose so that you can get a kinstone out of it, If it goes wrong, then you just have no chance of doing that, and you have to do a reset to be able to get the kinstone back. But if you've already got your kinstones and you're not worried about that, and you were just using the manipulations to get through here quickly, then you've got these strategies in your belt so that you can save some time here and not have to do a reset. But yeah, I think that is it for me. That's just an explanation of all of the different things that can happen with this guy. You know what? Let's go another time, because you can never, you can't ever practice this too little. Yeah, so come down here. It's worst, one of the worst places it can be. Okay, right, it moved up. Stand here, get pushed. Hit here, click, and we're through. Right, so yeah, I hope that has all of the information that you would need for doing the Manipless Armos clip. If you do have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you around.